The time has just gone 8:30. We'll have our news headlines in a moment, but I want to ask you about this move by your Senator Mark Dáil to have the Seanad recalled to discuss this organ donation legislation. He was being challenged earlier in this studio in the week in relation to whether he had your support for this move. Does he have your support as a first question on this for getting the Seanad back next week?
He does indeed. First of all, he has secured the 20 senators to the petition which is necessary to recall the Seanad. It's to do with the European Union regulation on the quality and safety of human organs intended for transplantation. He has been endeavouring over the last 12 months to get a debate in the Seanad on this very important issue in relation to transplantation.
So you support this move?
Yeah, he has failed unfortunately to get the agreement to the Minister over the last number of months to have a debate. And I think the broader point in terms of the reform of our legislature is that the transposition of EU directives should merit this kind of debate, and there should be issues like this. We shouldn't have to be in the position we're now in.
I don't want to go into maybe to the broader issue. There were perhaps opportunities for Fianna Fáil during the Seanad term to raise it, but can I put to you the position?
Can I just say to you, he did attempt to raise it.
Yeah.
He did write to the Minister. He did write to the chairman of the Seanad, but to no avail.
Can I put to you the views of the Irish Donor Network? They say in relation to this legislation that it's very much technical, it's non-controversial, and they see it as a very positive development. And I mean, reading between the lines, they can't see why you're making all this fuss.
Well, the Irish Kidney Association have a different view, but by the way, I have...
Now, they've changed their view, apparently.
Yeah, the directive itself is an important directive. The issue of transplantation is a very important issue. The issue of infrastructure, which the Irish Donor Network raised, is a very important issue. Why is there a problem with debating that?
Well, the issue is recalling the Seanad, especially to debate a piece of legislation which the Irish Donor Network are saying really is something that's non-controversial. It's fairly technical. There are bigger issues, but they are for another day and for other legislation.
Well, I actually don't accept that the legislature should be excluded from debating. I mean, this is legislation, right, which is being transposed and was transposed from European Union directive into Irish law, and it has had no debate in the legislature.
And the Attorney General says that recalling the Oireachtas to debate this would be redundant because it would need to be referred to the Oireachtas by the Committee on European Affairs.
But you see, you're going back now to the broad. You sort of exclude the broader question that I raised earlier. I mean, we're in the context of Dáil and Seanad reform and all of that. I think it's given all that has happened.
No, I am excluding the broader issue because I'm trying to get a specific answer to why. I'd like to get a specific answer to the question. Here's the question: Why are you supporting the recall of the Seanad, and you're trying to get the Dáil back as well, when the Attorney General is telling us that it's quite redundant?
Well, with respect now to the Attorney General and to everybody else, I'm a legislator, and I would have to say to you, you didn't give me an opportunity to make the point, which is a very important point. The legislator should debate legislation. It should not be excluded from debating legislation. In the context of a very important issue related to transplantation, which is an important issue, it has been excluded from so doing. And I think it's within the remit of any legislator, on a broad principle, to endeavour to have such an important issue debated. That's the net point as far as I'm concerned. And the Irish Kidney Association, which is a key body here, are very concerned about the absolute lack of consultation